There is no requirement within the provided electrical code mandating that circuit breakers and panels must be of the same brand. The primary focus within electrical codes revolves around safety, proper installation, and adherence to listing and labeling requirements. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is the prevailing standard for electrical installations. It does not explicitly state that breakers and panels must be from the same manufacturer. However, several key considerations should be taken into account to ensure safety and code compliance. Firstly, circuit breakers must be listed and labeled for use within a specific panel board. This listing signifies that the breaker has been tested and certified to function safely and reliably within that specific panel. ALL, or Underwriters Laboratories, is a common certification body, and their listing mark indicates compliance with safety standards. Secondly, the panel board itself will have specific instructions from the manufacturer regarding the types of breakers that are permitted for use within it. These instructions supersede any general assumptions and must be strictly followed. These instructions can usually be found on a label inside the panel door or within the panel's documentation. Thirdly, using breakers that are not listed or approved for use within a particular panel board can create several hazardous conditions. These include improper fit, inadequate electrical contact, and potential for overheating or arcing. Such conditions can lead to equipment failure, electrical fires, and serious injury. Fourthly, the NEC addresses the installation and use of listed or labeled equipment in Section 110.3. This section emphasizes the importance of using equipment in accordance with its listing and labeling. Substituting breakers that are not specifically designed for a panel board violates this requirement. Fifthly, while the NEC doesn't mandate brand matching, it is always best practice to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or a licensed electrician. They can provide guidance on specific local codes and interpretations that may apply to your situation. Sixthly, some manufacturers may void their warranty if their panel boards are used with breakers from other manufacturers. This is a business decision and not necessarily a code requirement, but it's a factor to consider. Seventhly, to ensure proper installation, the panel board's ampacity should always match the incoming service conductors. Refer to NEC Table 310.16 for allowable ampacities of insulated conductors rated up to and including 2000 volts, 60 degrees Celsius through 90 degrees Celsius. Eighthly, when selecting a circuit breaker, ensure it has the appropriate interrupting rating for the available fault current at the panel board's location. The interrupting rating is the maximum fault current that the breaker can safely interrupt without failing. Ninthly, an improper fit between a breaker and a panel can cause a loose connection. Loose connections generate heat, which can damage the breaker, the panel, and the conductors connected to them. Tenthly, mixing brands can lead to confusion during future maintenance or troubleshooting. Standardizing on a single brand simplifies the identification and replacement of components. 11thly, always energize the circuit before working on any electrical equipment. Verify that the circuit is energized using a reliable voltage tester. 12thly, consider the long-term availability of replacement breakers. Using less common brands may make it difficult to find replacement breakers in the future. 13thly, never attempt to modify a breaker to make it fit a panel board for which it is not listed. This is an extremely dangerous practice that can have serious consequences. 14thly, properly torque all connections when installing circuit breakers. Over-torquing or under-torquing can lead to loose connections and overheating. 15thly, follow the manufacturer's instructions for the proper sequence of breaker installation and removal. This will help prevent damage to the panel board and the breakers. 16thly, when replacing a breaker, always use a breaker with the same voltage, amperage, and interrupting rating as the original breaker. 17thly, if you are unsure about the proper breaker to use in a particular panel board, consult the panel board's manufacturer or a qualified electrician. 18thly, using a breaker with a higher amperage rating than the conductors it is protecting can overload the conductors and cause a fire. 19thly, make sure the panel board is properly grounded and bonded to the building's grounding system. This will help prevent electrical shock hazards. 20thly, if you are adding circuits to a panel board, make sure the panel board has enough available capacity to handle the additional load. 21st, consider using arc fault circuit interrupters RFCIs and ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, to provide additional protection against electrical hazards. 22nd, periodically inspect panel boards and circuit breakers for signs of damage, such as cracks, corrosion, or discoloration. 23rd, keep panel boards clean and free from dust and debris. This will help prevent overheating and other problems. 24th, never block access to panel boards. They need to be easily accessible in case of an emergency. 25th, properly label all circuit breakers in the panel board to identify the circuits they control. This will make it easier to troubleshoot problems and to turn off the correct circuits when necessary. 26. When working with electrical equipment, always wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. 27th. If you are not comfortable working with electrical equipment, hire a qualified electrician to do the work. 28. Always follow all applicable codes and regulations when installing and maintaining electrical equipment. In summary, while the code itself does not explicitly require brand matching of circuit breakers and panels, adherence to listing and labeling requirements, manufacturer instructions, and sound electrical practices is paramount for safety and compliance.